welcome once again, Atlanta United family, to another episode of Resurge the Spike ATL with FILA Sports Podcast. And if you have not yet subscribed, please go subscribe. As you can see up there, all our social media platforms. And, well, as we said on the last episode, I said only one, that if we were gonna, what was the bet? That if we won by more than 3, I was gonna give something away. And well, I already posted it on social media, as many of you guys already know. But is this jersey that's been signed by Franco Escobar? You see, is the authentic one.
Ooh.
And this one does come with a certificate of, because the other one that was actually signed at a game, so obviously you're not going to get a certificate of authenticity, but this one does. So,
ooh, fancy.
Yeah. But as I said, all you have to do is follow the simple steps that were on there on Twitter, which was you have to follow us on Twitter and go subscribe to FILA Sports Podcast and all the social media platforms, not just YouTube, but also Facebook as well. And that's all the simple step. Oh, and also you had to tag 3 people on the tweet that's on Twitter. And my actual personal one is Resurge Spike ATL. So that's where the post is, and any of you guys can go on there, and like I said, just comment, and go follow us, and that's basically all the simple steps you have to do. And
What's up, Nick?
Now, man, what do you think, Tommy? How you been? How you been feeling about those Atlanta United wins lately?
Oh, amazing. So what? I guess we got to go back to Wednesday night. I don't think we talked about Wednesday's game, right?
Yeah, because we did the show right before that one. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it was a game that pretty well rounded, honestly. I mean,
I'm so upset. I'm so upset about that game. I said 5-0, and you're
it could have been easily 6, man. Easily 6, 7 if Dom would have put 2 opportunities that he had at the end of the game, which even Pineda said at the conference afterwards that. I don't know why he cut back and he just didn't keep on going and shoot. But I mean, I don't know what
it's Jurgen Damm. That's why. There's 2 things I love in life: yelling about Kubo and yelling about Jurgen Damm.
Anyone but Kubo.
Those are my 2 favorite things. Anyone but Kubo. But yeah, it was. I was so mad.
Whoever said that.
5-0. 5-0. I think 4-0 happened at like the 80th minute mark, and then. There goes Jurgen, ready to make my dreams come true, make my insane prediction of 5-0 happen, and he doms it up. But yeah, it was a great game. We had some nice goals. I think that was Barco's free kick game. One of his goals was the free kick. I think that was the 4-0 goal. He was either 3 or 4. And then you had
Campbell.
Campbell
was starting. Yeah. Josef, which he's starting to heat up again. He had 2 nice goals that were good goals.
Well, he might be cooling down a little bit if
surprisingly, man, we're it's still Wednesday, and Atlanta United hasn't come out with any news. I mean, but yesterday there was a picture that came out that they were at Ronald Hernandez's birthday dinner, I guess, and I mean, he didn't have no knee brace or anything like that. It didn't look like. I mean.
Darren Eales was on 92.9 today, and he said that he's day to day, and he said that they might be doing an MRI. It's like, you don't know that they've done an MRI yet? How do you not know this? You are literally the president of the club. You should know everything about everything. But it sounds like they're downplaying it, so it's not a very big thing. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I've worried about with Josef is playing on turf is hard, and that's one of the comments that they made was that he was struggling during the DC game. I mean, at the 80th minute, and it's scary. It's anything scary with him. I believe, I forget who it was on Seattle, is also having a similar issue where he had a surgery on his knee, and
Nico Lodeiro, I think is. Yeah,
I think
because
so. So they said he's out for a while, and they don't know how long. So they need to, I don't know how long we've got, with time with Josef, and how much more time we have with them. But we have an opportunity to get to the playoffs, and my concern is, and I guess this is my concern about Barco, I brought up is, again, the game got close, so I'm glad he scored that goal, but you got to manage these guys' times, these minutes, and all these forwards, and Moreno, Araujo, which was it Saturday's game that he came off the bench
yeah,
Saturday.
the last game, against DC.
So
I mean,
give these
he
guys some
man,
time.
that's the thing. You have really, the ability to rotate, and I mean, you obviously don't have the same, type of caliber players, to where you could switch. But there's certain games where I guess you can manage that, coming forward or coming, in the upcoming weeks. Because if you look at it, most likely Bello and Miles are going to be gone for the qualifiers again for the U.S.
I don't think we're going to be missing any games, though. I think that this transfer window, they're not going to miss any games. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this window, we're off that week. We're off the week of the weekend of the 10th, which is when those games are. So I'm pretty sure that we're not going to be missing any guys for that transfer window.
Yeah, and I mean, with Josef, with how he's looking, I doubt they'll even risk him going down to South America.
It's 2 weeks, and you can't block a guy from going to the World Cup qualifiers. So if he gets called up, he'll have to go. You just hope that they manage his minutes. And Venezuela's garbage. Like they should not be. I mean, I know why they have to play him, but it gets to a point here where his health. This is the last window. There might be a window right before the playoffs, I think, actually. The most Cup playoffs where we could be missing some guys, but hopefully, even if he does go, he doesn't start. I think he did start one game and came in late on the other, but yeah, I mean, right now with Josef, they're playing it real cool about it, and I know he went off and he came out for practice and then he went right back in. I don't know if that's the that was planned. Like maybe just go out there, say hi to the fans.
Yeah,
since they were at the supporters were all at the training ground, but it's better to play it safe with him. I would be shocked if he's even on the bench for Philadelphia on Saturday. I would prefer if he just stays at home and continues to just relax that leg, because we don't have a game. I think we have a mid-game week.
against Miami.
So, and that's a big game too. So there's nothing to rush with Josef here. I think you just have to be smart going for this. And, luckily the schedule gets a lot easier towards the end of the season. So, and a little bit more spread. I know we have a couple, no weekend games towards the end of the season, but a lot of midweek games like Wednesday, and then a Sunday game to end the year. So might as well just be safe with him and hope for the best.
I mean, and you look at it, I mean, I doubt, he wants to, be out, obviously, but he has to play it safe. He really does have to play it safe. I mean, there's no other option. I mean, he really needs to be healthy for this last part. I mean, what game was it that he, against Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken? No, against Orlando, where he hadn't came back yet. Him, but and Miles were missing from that game, if I'm not mistaken. And
they look great.
This team looked good. The team looked good. Without him, and they have options. Like I said, this guy, Araujo, man. Every time this guy gets the ball, man, it's just like you get up and you're like, ooh, what's he gonna do? Because he's nice, man. He's nice on his feet. Like, he's got speed. He's got that ability. There was this one play he had right when he came on last Saturday, and I mean, it was almost like the same exact run that he had down the right lane, and he was so close to having that shot going. But the guy's got quality, man. I don't know
my
who,
second favorite player already.
Whoever was the one responsible, I don't know who it was, but whoever was in charge of bringing this guy, man, they really hit the nail right on the spot with this guy. Because I mean,
I know who it was. It was the guy that everybody wants to go. Boca. Boca. I don't know. I don't remember the exact relationship, but I think that the coach that was there that played for, where did he go? Where was he at? Can't remember off the top of my head, but Boca played with the former coach, and the coach left for another team and told him that Araujo is available. So he went out and reached out, and that's how he came in. So Boca, he's made some pretty big moves after the whole Boca out, 3-month span that we had there where we didn't win a game. So, I mean, we'll probably talk about this a lot in the off season, but I think his role changes at some point. Maybe not the exact same role, but I don't think he's going to be out. I think he's going to stay with the organization. But he's, everybody's so down on what he's done. He's brought in some good talent, and he's drafted some good talent. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, this offseason is going to be huge for this club, moving people around, and we talk about it every week, but got to talk about now. And this Philly game is huge, standings wise, because there's a lot of teams that are playing each other that are going to be coming in, or teams that are above us are all playing each other. Like they're all that 2 to like 7 or 8 or 9, whatever it is, 2 to 9 are so close together. It's going to be pretty crazy to see who actually gets in, and there's going to be some team that gets out. And I'll be honest with you, I think the team that might be out is Orlando. Orlando, out of all those teams, they have gone to hell.
They've gone downhill.
There was a game, I think it was on Wednesday. Yeah, it was on Wednesday. And Nani got 2 yellows like in a span of like 25 minutes.
Yeah,
and
they ended up with
yellow
2.
almost just looked like, I just don't want to play anymore. And they almost came back. I think they were down 2-0, and they ended up scoring 2. And then they got another red card, and then they ended up losing 4-2 or 5-2. But Orlando's just has looked terrible. But Orlando's playing a lot of these teams. I think they have the hardest schedule remaining for the rest of the season. They played New England twice. Nashville, I think, one more time. So they don't have an easy schedule. But Atlanta, I mean, we can move all the way up to 2 at this point with the schedule that we have, and depending on some other games and how they roll out. If this team could stay healthy, 2's not that far away, and that's what you want. If you get 2, then you could avoid New England as long as possible, and probably Nashville. You don't want to play Nashville or New England until it would be the 3rd or the conference finals.
Basically, between semifinals or finals. Because I mean, sometimes, man, there are surprises, man. I remember, what was it, the 2019 season, New York City, I believe they were the ones in first place, and how they have that bye the first round. Man, they got eliminated the second round, which I believe is a semifinal. Yeah, I don't remember by who. I think it was Philadelphia. Because that's because then Atlanta ended up playing Philadelphia that year, and I mean, New York City were looking like they were the favorites, to go all the way with Atlanta, but they got knocked out that first game, man. That's how it is. Crazy with the MLS, man. And I feel like Atlanta, honestly, even if it comes down to the point where they go so lower, or they have a bad stretch, to where they don't win games, or they drop some spots down in the table, I feel like even if that happens, there's still a pretty good quality roster to where, they can basically play, against anybody in any team. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're going to win necessarily, but I mean, they're definitely going to have, a competitive roster. And I feel like the attitude and the hunger to want to make something happen in the playoffs.
So the only thing I want to see out of this team, and obviously you don't want to see it, but I want to see this team down a goal. Because we've seen so many times where a team goes up on Atlanta and parks the bus. And when they park the bus, we can't score. And we got to see if we can get past that, because there's going to be a time, and probably going to happen in the playoffs, where a team's going to go up on us, and how they're going to react is going to be very important. Because parking the bus, Atlanta's never really, when Atlanta goes down 1-0, usually you do not see good things forward. And that's with a lot of teams. But I feel like Atlanta's not good at parking the bus when they're up a goal or two. They struggle sometimes. But then you look at, what we have now, and how we've changed our roster a little bit. Can we get past that? Can we come back from being down 1-0? We've seen it a few times. I know basically how this whole thing has gotten up was when they were in Montreal and they were down a couple goals and came back and scored. But I want to see it against a legit team, and we've got a couple legit teams coming up, and Philly's one of them. And
speaking of that game, Atlanta goes up to Montreal and play them, if I'm not mistaken, sometime in October, if I'm not mistaken. That's one of the games because Montreal also, are fighting. They're like one spot above Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. So that game, depending on how everything plays out, that game is going to be crucial. This game against
they have
Philly.
every game though. Every game. Right now, coming up. You got Philly, you got Miami, Montreal, all three teams that are in that span. Then you got Toronto, but then you got New York City. Back another game against Miami, and then Toronto, and then you got the Red Bulls, and then Cincinnati. So the end's real good there, but you got some big games in that New York City. I don't know much about New York City, and New York City did not go back to Yankee Stadium, right? They're still playing. They're sharing the Red Bulls Stadium, from my understanding. I don't think they're going back this year. Hopefully not the garbage stadium. But yeah, long as they don't go back there, not too big of a worry. But yeah, it's half playoff teams and half garbage teams. So you can win, at least half of the teams. You want to win all the games, but you at least want to especially get a couple of these that are against playoff teams. So you can, these 6-point games are huge.
Yeah, like this week, this is pretty crucial as well. You look at, since the beginning of August, Atlanta have been the team basically that has picked up the most amount of points, which you thought 2 months ago before that, you wouldn't think that's possible, Yet again, there's been certain moves, obviously, but Atlanta definitely, you personally, how high do you see them, being in the standings by the end of the season?
My fanhood says 2, but realistically, I think 3. I think that they finish at the 3 spot and at least get that home playoff game, possibly 2, right? Because then I think they would still have a second round if they won it. So yeah, I think 3 is 3 is their ceiling, but could be wrong. Eventually they're gonna have to rest some of these guys and get them ready for the playoffs if that's where we're at. But I hope that going into that decision day that they don't have to. They're going to play all their guys, but hopefully there's nothing too drastic as far as having to. It's going to be too important because it's going to be cold here in Ohio, and you just want to get some of these guys healthy as can be for this hopefully long playoff run.
Yeah, especially you don't want to have to rely on other results as well. You don't want to be in a position to where you're below the playoff line and you have to depend on other teams' results and stuff like that. So
imagine if decision day was today and you just look at the standings now of where everybody is right now. One game could change from I think 3 through 8. All those teams could just bump up and bump down. But you guys bring up a game the other day, like just how important it is to win your games. Look at Miami. Miami blows it against somebody not good.
Toronto? No, not Toronto. That game was they won.
The Red Bulls. The Red Bulls 4-0. They lost 4-0. And those are the games that you have to avoid. And Miami, who's been winning a lot but not looking competitive, like it looks like a lot of luck. It's scary to see when something could go just as bad as that, but that's a huge loss for Miami, and we don't want to be talking about one of these huge losses for Atlanta coming up. I mean, that's big. It's big for goal differential for them, which, will be a tiebreaker. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Um, but yeah, we got 3 more games until the next international break, and man, it's going to be fun. But I don't want to. All I think about is Josef right now. That's all I can think about is if he's going to be healthy. Like,
Man,
look at that's
I
what
don't
you
think
did.
he'll play. He's not. He won't. I don't think I just don't think they'll risk it at all. What Pineda, I know. He cares a lot personally. To what it seems like about the players, and I know he would not risk. Not having Josef for the rest of the season, just to play him in Philadelphia. I mean, it is not that big. Right now, it's not that big.
You bring up Pineda, and I love this guy. Just everything that he has done. I mean, the team, and I mean, they're selling him. Any video you watch now, him talking to the players before the games, like he gets me jacked for these games, and just everything he does, like inviting the supporters, to the training ground was really cool. I know it's a thing that Seattle does, but that was really awesome that they did that. But like after when he didn't play on Saturday, I believe he was talking. Someone asked about Miles Robinson and why he wasn't playing. He had the numbers ready. Like he was just reading them off. Like he's played this much, he's traveled this much, he's played this many minutes and this many days. And I was like, okay, this guy's done his homework. He brings his notebook, like Schmetzer did in Seattle, and he had it ready and he opened it up and he just said the numbers. And it's like, okay, well, that's why we have Campbell right now. That's why we have him ready. And it was just it's so good to have this coach. And I'm a new Hawks fan. I really haven't watched the Hawks until this past season, but like all I could think about is like, look what the Hawks did. I mean, we fired our coach twice. They only had to fire their coach once, but we've got our we've got another coach here, our third coach, and we didn't fire Valentino, but you know what I'm saying. Like this is our third guy that we have, and I'm getting Hawks vibes. Like the team's having fun. Same with the Hawks. They're playing freely, same like the Hawks. Positive attitude like the Hawks, and they're winning like the Hawks. So all you got to do is get in, and you can upset anybody in MLS and single elimination games. So the similarities are pretty crazy when you look at it. Like it's like, oh man, this could happen. So yeah, it's going to be Pineda is just a fresh air, of that, and it's going to be interesting to see what he can do in a transfer window, because they said going forward, the coaches, because Frank de Boer was not involved at all. I know that Heinze was involved. Obviously, he brought in Sosa, and I think he had a lot to do with those two, but let's see what he does, what they come up with this offseason and what exactly they need. He's going to be with this team more than enough time to be able to figure out how to make it better. And there's tons of ways that they can make it better, and they have the money to do that for sure. So this offseason is going to be insane with some of these changes. But we need a striker. We need a legit, if Kubo's on this team. I don't care if they told me last season that he was going to be on the twos, and he was going to be working with the twos, and he was mostly going to be the twos. That was a damn lie. He's on this bench every week. I have to look at him. I just look at that name. I zoom in on it on the on Twitter, and I take a snapshot of it and send it to my friends, and I'll go, not today, Kubo. And he's always comes in at the end, and you need somebody. And Conway's, I don't know if Conway's the guy or not. He does well in USL, but again, off season, with Pineda, it could do a lot for him. But you saw ever since Pineda's in there, Conway's not in the lineup. He's with the twos every week now, and he's getting playing time, which is what he needs. Which was my concern the entire beginning of the season with Heinze. He was not playing Conway. He was always playing Kubo. Especially early when Josef was having issues, still getting ramped up. So you need someone legitimate. And then, I think the best thing that could possibly happen, was it Leagues Cup that was announced yesterday?
That's exactly that's where I was heading to. There's definitely got to be some budget changes, man, when it comes to with the announcement that CONCACAF did yesterday with the whole Leagues Cup. It definitely has to
Sweet.
be changed.
I like it. I mean, I like it a lot, but how do you play this many games? Like, because I don't think they're shorting the MLS season. They don't want to short the MLS season because if you shorten that, that's less games for your TV contracts that you have. So you can't shorten that. U.S.
But
Open Cup is not going away.
If I'm not mistaken, that's when they were gonna have a new contract, or like they were gonna renew with somebody else or something like that. So maybe that has something to do with that. Maybe.
Usually, those type of tournaments have like a separate channel or things like that. Like I know, Open Cup was on Yahoo, and I forget who it got traded. It might have gone on to ESPN first, but I think they have
ESPN Plus had it, because I remember watching it on there. Yeah, ESPN.
But yeah, Plus. They all have different rights. I mean, you look at the Premier League, and you have the Caribou Cup, I think, and the FA Cup are all on ESPN. But then you have the Champions League that's on Paramount. So I think that whatever that does, I think it's going to get its whole separate contract altogether. Because it's not just MLS, it's Liga MX that's going to be involved. So
it's a whole month, man. It's a whole month that they're stopping, in the middle of the summer just to have this tournament. Which I mean,
is it every summer?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it is. If I'm not mistaken,
that's sweet.
Yeah, because they didn't mention anything about either 2 or 4 years. I mean,
yeah, you have Champions League too, and there's Champions League. People get in if they do well in this tournament, so there's some spots available for it. So you have to give them flexibility. Now, I know Liga MX, I don't think they have spending limits down there, but I think they said that they want to go on an MLS type budget. But even if you do that, like, first off, MLS doesn't want to get embarrassed, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the Players Association. I mean, they've had to have a discussion with them, adding these games. And you have that other. I mean, I wonder if that other random tournament that's going on right now with a couple of the MLS teams.
It's the Leagues Cup. It's the same thing. It's basically it's the same exact thing. Yeah. Today is actually the final. Seattle against Club Leon. I mean, I don't think, to what I've been seeing on Twitter, I don't think nobody's really been paying attention to it. I remember the first couple of games that everybody was like watching, or like afterwards was like, wait, there was like MLS team playing, Liga MX teams, because nobody really knew about it.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to it. Atlanta's never been in the tournament, and I don't know if anyone actually takes it seriously. So yeah, I haven't really watched any of that, but
I'm pretty sure this one will grab some attention though. There's 3 spots to the CONCACAF Champions League. So I mean, there's definitely going to be some interest in that. I don't know how much money they're going to be getting, when it comes to like the awards and stuff, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's obviously, some type of interest to the teams.
Yeah, all tournaments are cool. I mean, they're fun, and they're trying to make this one actually seem important. So it's gonna be good, but it's just you have to pay the players more if they're going to be putting that much more time in, and then you can't expect them to all play all these games. I mean, look what's happening right now with players like Miles and Bello and Josef, and then you got to rest these guys because they're playing so much. And then we'll see how teams try to prioritize this. I mean, just look today. Like I looked at the Manchester United roster for was the FA Cup was today? Yeah,
no, it was that Carabao Cup.
Was it? Yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
whatever tournament. They didn't take it seriously at all. They had a couple guys on the bench. They even had Ronaldo. I don't even think traveled.
Seriously, when it comes down, I mean, I've noticed that because I mean, I watch MLS, but I also watch a lot of European soccer, man, and the same thing happens when it comes to these games like Copa del Rey, Copa, like the Italian Cup, like all these secondary cups, technically, like, they all get played by basically the bench players, like, or like a second team or third team at times, unless it's like a team, or when it comes down to the final stages, or you're playing a big team in between there. But other than that, you really have, mostly, even I remember when we had that US Open Cup run, I mean, it was mostly bench guys that were there, on the starting lineup.
Kind of. I don't know. I always thought, well, hold on. First off, OG Pilgrim. Yes, I know they lost. I watched and screamed at the TV and swore at it for a couple minutes towards the end of there. But they Tata, I mean, really didn't prioritize the cup. Like, early on, that was, I think that their second, or I'm sorry, the second year when they were in it, I was watching it and like I'm seeing a lot of guys I've never seen before, and it's like, all right, who's this guy? Who's this guy? But then the second year, even though they didn't start Josef and quite a few of them, I think he was on international duty on some of them. You still had some guys that came in, like Barco played in the quarterfinals, and that was like his first game back from injury, and he ended up, he was big in that game. But U.S. Open Cup hero Brandon Vasquez, MVP of that tournament. I mean, he was huge. But then you look at the final; they get to the final. Josef's in there. I don't.
Yeah, no, they had the whole starting lineup. Yeah, I was there that
almost,
game. Yeah. LJP played.
Start it. Yeah, Guzan did not start that one.
Yeah, I mean, it was, if I'm not mistaken, like Eric Rometty was playing, Parker's was playing. I mean, it
was a huge game. Yeah, I mean, they treated it like it was for, I mean, it was for a trophy. So, the whatever that I was going to say. It's huge that, you've got, so now you got Open Cup, which they said they're not canceling. Then you've got, Champions League. Then you got this MLS season. Campeones Cup, which might be tonight or is tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow.
The Campeones Cup? No, that's next week.
Oh, it is? Okay. But that's coming up.
Or is it? No, it's the 12th. It was the 20th. But yeah, no, because I know the Open Cup, or not the Open Cup, what's it called? The Leagues Cup. That's tonight.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, you have that too, and then you're gonna have this new, this league's, full on tournament. I mean, you're gonna have to figure out what you want to win, and what you're gonna have. But MLS doesn't have that type of roster, and like teams like, Manchester United can go and get these guys that they're paying a ton of money for, get some playing time, and hope that they win. I know they didn't, Pilgrim, but they tried to, and I mean, that's good for us. We can't do that. We don't have that type of bench, and that type of money to get quality players in there. And that's just what, that's gonna, no team, especially teams that are TV production companies, are going to be like, oh yeah, we're the cup where everybody plays all their backups in.
Right.
That's our contract thing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Ronaldo's not playing in this. Sweet. Oh, Josef's not playing in any of these games. Great. You want to have your tournament as the priority. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do here. And I don't think they can, I don't know if they would renegotiate the CBA again, because that's been hell every time that they've tried to do this, especially during COVID. But if they can, loosen some of these rules up and be able to get, have better benches, or, have a couple extra roster spots that you can, pump your salary up for to get, just better for the league in general, and this league has gotten, I've only been a fan of it. I got into Atlanta United, their first playoff game. That was my first game I ever watched against Columbus.
What a tough loss too, man.
Yeah,
penalties.
That was my first game, so I stuck with them even during the losing times. But the league has grown so much since then. I mean, you've got rules.
Like I definitely, like, it definitely would help the league, when it comes to that, to be more flexible on the rules when it comes to spending, because like, you have teams that, like Monterey, what's this other one? Cruz Azul, Club America. These are clubs that are spending money, like, I mean, on players that they're bringing from either South America, or Tigres brought what's this guy from France, Gignac? They brought him. I know Monterey brought this other European too. I forgot his name, but I mean, they're bringing quality players. Now, I don't see a club like, and I'm not throwing no shade, but teams like like Vancouver, or like San Jose or Cincinnati, they're not gonna go against these big, Liga MX clubs. And even if they spend money, I feel like they just don't have the quality backup either. But when you look at it, like you said, it would help the league because they'll also be able to bring like bigger. I feel like they're not trying to bring so much like bigger names when it comes to like like a Zlatan or a Rooney or a Schweinsteiger, that type of players, but they're trying to bring in players that are basically making the league grow when it comes to the like developing. It's a league like is really not that old. I mean, it's not even 30 years old. I mean, I remember when I first started watching that, I was a LA fan. I was a LA Galaxy fan back when Beckham had just arrived. And I remember the games, everything was totally different. I mean, when it comes to, the money, I mean, you have teams like, I mean, New England. I mean, there is a team or Atlanta that are able to spend. LA Galaxy, LAFC, they're going to spend. If they have that opportunity, they're going to take it, and spend the money. I mean, and
well, yeah. And America doesn't want dominant teams. They don't like that. They want to have as much parity as possible. That's so some random team can win a championship. And that's they don't want that at all. And you really learned about that in some of these contract negotiations. But the young DP spot is real big to what they created, because that you can put a lot more money on those spots, and some teams haven't used those spots yet, and some of those teams that haven't used all those spots are cheap teams. And maybe they just haven't found the guy yet, but there is a coincidence that some of these teams are cheap. So yeah, it should be interesting to see what they do with this, because I have a feeling, knowing the MLSPA, they're going to want to talk about this. Adding more game time to these guys is a lot. And their off season's pretty short. They're not like the Premier League where you're got a lot more breaks in there. It's a pretty short off season. What MLS Cup is in December this year.
Yeah,
right? First week
December.
back to December. So yeah, I mean, you've got basically January and February, and you're back in it. So if you're going all the way, it's a very short off season to be able to do anything. So it should be interesting to see what comes of this. And they got a couple of years to figure it out. So I don't expect anything right away to change on it. But
basically, we got 2 years, man. I mean, this year is basically gone. I mean, and you look at it. I mean, the tournament was in 2023, the first one. So
yeah, so you got 2 off. I mean, maybe not this off season, but the next off season they're gonna have to do something. I'm
There's
sure
definitely going to be changes in the MLS. Whether is more DPs, flexibility, or
TV contracts. That's the big thing.
Yeah,
you get more money, and then they'll let the team spend some more money, because nobody. If you have this tournament going on, right, and you're trying to maybe rest some guys for the regular season, you don't want Kubo and Torres playing in a game, a big game, because you're trying to rest some guys for the regular season to start back up. They don't want that. They're going to want the best guys possible that you have, and you still look at some other teams that's some of these teams they're playing in the Caribou Cup. They're still able to put some guys that are on their bench that normally don't play. Like Manchester United started Vanderbeek today. The guy has barely gotten any time in the past since he signed with them, but he got some time today. And like those are the times where it's like, okay, you can start some quality guys that don't have time. Quality guys aren't what you have. Andrew Carlton's coming in for FA, coming in and playing Open Cup for us in a couple of years, and he was okay. But I mean, it's you need some more quality, and I think that's hopefully what we're
that's gonna come. I feel like that's gonna come, man. It's just with the time, like you said, especially with the CV contracts. I saw something on Twitter, to where this season has gotten the most attention ever since like has been the most view ever since like the year 2000, if I'm not mistaken. Has had the most viewership. So
2027 is when this current CBA goes till, which is insane. I might not be alive by 2027.
Yeah, it was like a 10-year contract or something like that, wasn't it?
They added some years to it. There was a 2-year extension. I think they extended it after they renegotiated. So, term February 8th, 2021 to January 31st, 2028. That's insane. That you have, but the cap, the salary budget goes up every single year. I mean, it says able to spend on roster. I mean, it's like 9 million. 9 million this year, but by the time you get to 2027, it's up to 13 million. And that's huge. But even so, even if you're going that, you still need to up it if you're having more games.
Yeah.
For sure, because that those don't seem to coincide. I mean, you're only going up next year $100,000 of what you're able to spend on your roster from this year. So it's not huge. And then you start seeing the big, looks like they add around 500,000 every single year after that. So it's gonna be crazy, but that's what you want from this league. You want to see it grow, and get fun with things. And nobody had fun last year. There was no fun. A tournament was a tournament.
Man, I don't think anybody had fun regarding whether it came to soccer or basketball, man. I mean, nobody, being really able to go out or do anything, that really changed everything. But now somewhat starting to go back to normal, somewhat.
Yeah. So what's your prediction for Saturday?
Man, I say we win 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah.
I was going to say 2-1. I was going to say 3-2, but I'm going to say 2-1.
I mean, Philadelphia haven't really been, too.
Oh, they've been garbage.
They really, I thought they were gonna do something in those games against Club America, because they were somewhat trying to focus their attention on that, but that wasn't the point either. I mean, they've been looking just horrible.
Yeah, for sure. 3-1 Pilgrim says. I mean, I could see a lot happening in this game. I mean, we've got.
I don't really
definitely turned into a rivalry.
Goals. Yeah. That's what I was gonna tell you. I mean, every time they've played these last couple of seasons, I mean, it's gotten real chippy. It's gotten real heated between the players. I mean, I don't know what it is with Philly. They're always faking injuries, trying to waste time.
That other Martinez, I want to punch in the face. Whoever that Martinez is on that team, I hate that guy. I forget the
even their coach, man, Jim Curtin or whatever his name is. Man,
he looks like a sitcom guy. Like he's on a sitcom on NBC. I hate that guy. But like now, he called Heinze, I forget what he said, an asshole or something. But like now we know it's true. We know what it was true. I mean that's. It's just I don't know. I like rivalries, and Orlando really hasn't been the rivalry we wanted, and then we wanted to make it Miami, and Miami hasn't really done that. I mean, we're gonna see Miami twice in the next couple of weeks, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I don't see it, man. It's just who I've really been seeing a lot of trash talking from lately? Nashville fans, man. Nashville fans have been the horrible, and Charlotte hasn't even played, and they got their fans talking trash too on Twitter, like. Dude, y'all haven't even kicked the ball yet, and y'all here trash talking and everybody's like, seriously,
minutes of extra time. He says.
This is what kills me. It's like every team around here, like in the southeast part, basically you could say, or the new teams that have come around or that are coming around, they all try to match up to Atlanta for some reason. Like that's all they think about. It's like, whenever Atlanta plays them, like that's their biggest, goal of the year is basically playing Atlanta, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. I would love to see Nashville become a big rivalry. I will tell you, as a hockey fan, their fan base is the most annoying fan base in all of hockey. I mean, they're passionate. They have these insane chants that they have, but like I want to kill every Nashville Predators fan. I can't go to a game because I know if I go there and I have any alcohol, I'm not making it out of that stadium alive. And I feel like it's going to be the way if I go to if I go to Nashville, for a game. So that's one stadium like I would love to go to. My wife wants to go out to Nashville and get drunk on their main street over there, but I don't think I can make that.
There's a lot of Atlanta fans that go there, man. Like especially I know that first game that unfortunately Josef got injured in. I mean,
the COVID game.
It was packed, man. It was packed with. I mean, I expect the same thing. When Charlotte comes around and Atlanta United fans, I feel like they're gonna pack Bank of America Stadium too, man. I mean, I don't know how far it is, but I mean, I know for a fact they'll definitely make the drive. Or I mean, I know from Charleston, from where I'm at right now, is like 3 hours and a half. So I know I'm definitely going to those games.
Yeah, it's a Nashville Atlanta game would be so interesting because these games have been insane that they've had. They had the crazy game where Moreno got the red. I think it was Moreno, right?
Yeah.
He got the red, and then it got taken away.
They overturned.
Still ended up tying it. The 2-0 that we were up, and then we blew it. Pineda's first game where it was like 1, or it was 2-0 because of that the garbage goal and extra time. But like these games have been fun. So when you look at this, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. But if you got a playoff matchup, whether it's against Orlando or Nashville, that's really where you create that rivalry. And that's how we created the rivalry with the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
And we couldn't beat them ever. Have we beat them in the regular season yet? I don't even know if we have yet.
I don't think so. I don't think
it's coming up. Yeah. It's coming up. We're going to do it. But yeah, I mean, whether we get,
I said that on Twitter too, man. Against like that would be huge, like so huge if Orlando and Atlanta somehow ended up meeting at whatever point in the playoffs.
But like you get an Atlanta Nashville final, like Pilgrim says here. I mean, the fans going back and forth, whichever stadium that it would be at. I mean, that's going to be crazy. I mean, Atlanta already took over Nashville in their that opening game. I mean, it was like that was. I mean, from what I read, it was like over like 30-40% was Atlanta fans taking over that stadium. So, I mean, let's see what happens. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but I mean, it's creating.
What, man? You don't think what you think? You definitely think that somehow or another we're not gonna make the playoffs. I don't see that possible, man. I don't, or not possible. There is a small possibility. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't see this team like how they're doing right now. I just don't see that happening, man.
Every team I like gets injured. There's always some crazy injury. I feel like they're like I'm cursed. So I gotta just I mean, look what happened to Almiron like a couple weeks before, the MLS Cup run. Gets hurt, and like you thought he was dead, right? Like you thought he was out, and then you look at what happened to Josef the following year, right before the playoffs. He got carted off the field, and then he came back for the playoffs, and then he tweaked it again, and then we don't win it. I mean, anything could happen in the playoffs, and it really evolves. And again, we talked about the Hawks earlier, and the Hawks ended up playing two teams where their guys were hurt. Right, and they beat one of the teams, one of the teams that they had that one of their best players was out. They beat them, and then the next round, they end up losing eventually to the Bucks, who they lost their guy for a couple games, but they still couldn't do it. So anything can happen in sports. So I've learned at this old age of almost 40, like anything can happen. Don't get too excited. But once playoffs happen, I'm going to be excited. But let's get there. And let's get in there healthy. So rest Barco on occasion. Quit playing him 95 minutes every week. I'm gonna rant about this. If we're up, I want Barco off and let him just get some rest. We need him.
I was actually surprised they did that with Araujo the other day. They put him off the bench. I mean, and like Pilgrim says there, Mandalorian Moreno too. I mean, Moreno. I mean,
he plays every minute. I mean, they're
that run
every minute.
That run last game.
I mean, I know they said that he's still. I mean, he had he had a training camp. When prior to coming to Atlanta, but he's had having him get a little rest there has been pretty good. But yeah, you need to you need to start resting some of these guys and giving a couple of them some days off. And You really like to hear, about the analytics, sports analytics and sports science that he was talking about, and, getting those rests to Miles. I'm sure this is going to come in with some of these other guys too as we go. He wants to win every game, which I get, but I mean, sitting Araujo was big, and he limped a couple times during that Wednesday game. So when he came in a little bit late on Saturday, I was okay with that. As long as he's, spread the minutes out. You have some forwards. You still have Moreno that can come in and play with the forwards. But you got enough big guys right now, and Barco's a threat. So if you have all these guys that are threats, you can sub a guy out and still be a little scared of him. And Moreno's still playing okay. I mean, I don't think he's the guy that we need in that position, but right now he's what we have. I don't think we're going to see Chol much anymore. But yeah,
I mean,
you
Tyler
got
Wolf's
some other
been getting
guys
some
that can play.
minutes. Tyler Wolf's been getting some minutes too.
Yeah, I've actually was surprised that he was able to get in. Interesting that I think when he got the job that he talked about Tyler Wolf specifically.
Right.
And like
He
that
did.
conference, like I was like, oh, you know about Tyler Wolf? I don't know about Tyler Wolf. I mean, he's played a couple games and never impressed me. But man, I guess we should say happy FIFA Day for early access FIFA Day too. FIFA came out, man. I was looking at some of these players and their stats, man, and whew, they don't watch MLS. They don't watch MLS at all. I am shocked at some of these ratings, and I guess I'm a rating snob, but like Miles Robinson is like a 70, I think, but like Franco is like a 78. I'm like, what world do you guys live in?
Miles
like,
Robinson
like
is not even in the top,
team.
not even in the top 10. He's not even in the top 10 in whole MLS in the defending. Yet again, he's like probably the best defender in the MLS.
No, but
makes no sense.
They do constant things where they up players and give them better their numbers. So once Miles goes back to the USA team, I'm sure they'll ramp him up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, and the cool thing about this year, just random thought now about FIFA, every player on the team's picture is in the game, which I don't think has ever happened. Like Chol his pictures in there. Bauer, which has never played like a minute for Atlanta United ever.
You're right, because there's there's a lot of the players like especially like more like towards the bottom that don't have their picture on there.
Yeah,
is it everybody or is just their Atlanta?
Well, for Atlanta at least, I haven't really gone through all these other teams, but like every player for Atlanta United pictures in there, so that was cool to see. They have tifos now in it. They already had one last year, but like they have players like Moreno and Josef come up.
Oh, really? Damn, that's nice.
Yeah, like it's a picture of Josef pointing to the badge or the star. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, just early things. They have these kids that come out now, like just how they do in the games when they do player introductions. These kids look like they will murder you in your sleep. Like they are going to haunt your dreams. You see, they're so realistic. They're blinking. My daughter said she saw one of them like picking a wedgie out of his butt. Insane. This game's getting too realistic.
Yeah, I definitely saw that the updates from the last FIFA, they were definitely more realistic. The effects, the special effects, and everything.
Well, yeah. If anybody's playing on Xbox, let's go Ducks 96.
Hey, there you go. There you go. You got somebody that wants. There we go.
Come find me. I'm not that good. Not that great, but I'll try my best.
Yeah, I suck, man. Like I said, I was talking with you earlier, man. I really suck. I mean, my girlfriend be beating me all the time, honestly, now. I used to be good at some point. Like, I used to beat all my friends, but, man, I'm trash now. FIFA ain't my thing no more.
Well, I played one game. Like some guy that played was Watford, and I beat him 3-1, and then he quit. So I'm already on top of the world today. I'm 1-0, so that's all I need. But yeah, it's great. It's fun to have that game back.
Hopefully, man.
That game got me through COVID. It got me through COVID. So that's fun. But just the most unrealistic thing ever with that game. Jurgen Damm was the highest paid player in the league.
This tells you that?
I had a season going, and Jürgen Damm, he had like 3 game winners, and like I was losing every game and either tied it or won it for me. And he like got a contract. I was trying to negotiate with him, and with some team stole him from me and like offered him like insane, like he was making like double the money Josef was making, and I was like, yeah, nope, I'm not paying you. You're just so fast. Like if you have a fast guy, that's all you really need in that game. But oh my god, when I saw that, I just laughed and kept taking like screenshots of the thing, and then my guy just walked. I just was like, nope. If there was like a screw you button, I would have hit that and walked away from him. But yeah, that was probably the funniest thing that's ever happened to me in FIFA. It was like, I mean, he made like insane. They're like, both he's got
That's
this many goals, and
he's not even worth it, man. Just for the TikTok videos, man, it's not worth it to me. It's not.
MLS Cup MVP. That was what he was in my game. He was like playoff MVP. He had like 5 goals and like the 4 games. It was pretty crazy. So that tells you how realistic FIFA is.
Man, hey, man, just one last time, we're gonna go ahead and show you this, guys. I'm not sure who was watching and who was not at the beginning, but like we said last week, we're gonna be giving something away, and we're gonna be giving away this Franco Escobar signed kit from 2019.
Pilgrim wants it.
Who wants it?
Pilgrim wants it. I know he does. He's gonna put
probably
something
does.
in here.
I'm not sure. He already like tagged, the people on there on the post. But yeah, basically
Mr.
what you have to do.
Yeah, Mr. Playoffs.
Yeah, dude, he was crucial. I'm kind of mad they let him go, but then yet again at the same time, Brooks Lennon came in and he's been good down that side. So it's not like we've really missed him. Yet again, we still have his contract. He's on loan down there at Newell's. So I don't know.
I highly doubt that he makes his return, but it'd be pretty cool if he did. But like that's another guy. Like if you could even bring him back up because of roster constraints. So, but if not, I mean, love to have him and Brooks up there. But whatever.
But
we got Araujo now. We have him and Lennon. So that right side's pretty legit right at this point.
Yeah, I just have to worry about probably next season if Barco's, ends up leaving.
I already signed him in FIFA. I already brought him in.
Yeah, that's the only person that I don't remember who was talking about him. I think I was watching. I don't remember, but I was watching some soccer
Felipe?
show, and I remember they were talking about him, and they said, "Oh, Felipe, yeah. I think it was Felipe, the one that said something about him." If I'm not mistaken or something, that basically there was nothing really concrete, but there was definitely negotiations going on between him and the club. So
I don't know what contract negotiations and MLS / whatever league he's in, what they have to do to how you can bring him over, and like can you do a pre-contract or whatever. But from last I heard, it was still he's still planning on going. I mean, he's a young kid too, so the only thing you got to think about is it could take him some time to get used to the league, which is
that's been the thing about with most of the DPs that come here to MLS, they haven't really adapted quick. You look at PT, he didn't really adapt. Barco took some time to adapt. I mean, those are the guys that I can think of the top of my head right now for Atlanta that, basically haven't probably produced like how you would think that they would, or, how everybody pictured that they would. Yeah, I mean, he's been like that. Like I said, they
but
definitely
different league too. Like he's coming from a different league, and
yeah, I mean, you could tell the guys
he's a physical league.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they said that he came from a physical league.
He just came from playing PSG. I mean, and they won that game. I mean, that tells you, the level of playing of football, that they're playing, or that he was used to playing. I mean,
they say he's a super sub there. He was a super sub with that team. So like, I think this might be his first time playing like a legitimate starter on a consistent basis. So, and we'll see if they continue to do that with him. I mean, he should be a starter for this team, but the interesting part is they're saying that he would, if he comes in, he'd be the DP. So And I think the rule is that one of your DP spots have to be under a certain age. And I don't think Araujo and definitely Josef aren't under that age. So he would be that underage DP.
What is the criteria for that DP though? Or
they
what
make it up
exactly?
every year. They make it up every year. It's just
Because that's the
random
thing.
things.
I remember. If I'm not mistaken, with Franco Escobar, that happened. He was a DP, and when if I'm not mistaken, it was the 2020 year where he became a U.S. citizen or something like that. And if I'm not mistaken, that changed. That basically changed him from being a DP or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, but there was something that they did. With his legal status, if I'm not mistaken, that actually made him, eligible not to be a DP anymore. So he wasn't
Pilgrim
taking
says
out
under
that.
22, and I don't know. I mean, from what I read, he can't be. Maybe he's just saying that you have to be under 22 for that. But I know as far as the young DPs, they said that Almada could not be a young or one of the young DPs because of his money that they would pay him. So, you can be under 22 and sign, but if you want to make a certain amount of money, it still could bump you up to DP status. So, I mean, basically, I just think him and Barco are going to flip spots, which is kind of sad because they're buddies and it's cool to see them play together a little bit. But one's going to move up and his buddy's probably just going to take a spot. So, you're really set for, that move right there is just, flip flop those two guys in and out, and you got that. And then you're fixing your depth, fix your depth going forward and sell Miles for millions and billions of dollars.
I mean, he's definitely got to be gone by the end of the season. I mean, those are the two players that I, without a doubt, see, moving away from Atlanta in the offseason, Barco and Miles.
Does he score a regular season goal, or even a playoff goal? I think Miles. I think
Miles.
after the game, I think he scored one goal for Atlanta United, and I'm pretty sure it was in U.S. Open Cup in Columbus because I was there, and I'm 99% sure he scored a goal there. Him and Vasquez scored goals there, but yeah, I think that was his only goal he scored for the club.
For a club, man, but he's coming clutch for the U.S. national team.
Yeah, he's literally the number one center back on that team right now. I mean, I don't think it's anything close. I thought Zimmerman was going to be another lock for playing in that squad.
Yeah,
and the way they sell Zimmerman across the league and how they talk about him, and then just I mean, they sell Zimmerman as this top guy, and I think Miles is better. I prefer Miles over Zimmerman, and I think I don't want to say Miles is disrespected in this league, but I think he's disrespected in this league. And FIFA has just said screw Miles on that. But yeah, I mean it should be interesting to see on what Miles does here. In the next couple of months, because if he has a monster playoffs too, I mean, you could be selling Miles and Barco for a crazy amount of money. And then we got Campbell. You got Campbell, and if Campbell can continue, Campbell's younger than Miles, and
he's just 20,
you can get him. Yeah, you can continue to improve him. He could sell for more money than Miles. I mean that's a possibility too. You don't know. But I mean, him being younger is definitely a factor of it. But who knows?
Yeah, man. There's definitely that's something that has impressed me with Atlanta, man. The fact that their development, from the youth academies and stuff like that, man. That's I could say it's probably one of the best in the league when it comes to the development. You got these type of players, coming and being sold, and or if they are sold for a good amount of money, but yet they're already playing for the national team. So they're quality players, man. It's just a matter of finding that talent. And apparently, Atlanta United has been doing a good job with that.
Man, Carlton, what could have been?
Yeah, man. Now he's down in Costa Rica, man.
Oh man, I could just see him with dreads, Oh man. Oh, we could have an Andrew Carlton episode one day, and I'll forget I'll forget the password to get in, and not be able to get in. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna go eat dinner now, I guess.
yeah, man. Same thing, man. Yeah. All right, man. Well, it was good to speak to all you guys, and don't forget, go sign up or subscribe to all our platforms, and have a good afternoon, every single one of you guys. All right, Tommy. I'll see you next time, dude.
Yeah, after the win.
Yeah, we're hoping for that.